We're 4 games through season number 5 of the Denver Broncos franchise here on Madden 25, and today we're going to get through 4 more. Weeks 5 through 8, making it to the halfway point and the trade deadline for the 2028 season. Currently, we are 3-1 through our first 4 games. It's been certainly an interesting start, I would say, up to this point. But we've beaten the Chiefs twice. Granted, the second time in Arrowhead, we absolutely should not have won that game. We were completely outplayed and got bailed out by some Chiefs-esque devil luck. We then lost the next game, though, to Carolina, 41-38. I feel like the offense was kind of mediocre so far this year until the second half of that game, and the defense was really good until the second half of that game. We haven't yet seen both sides of the ball playing well in unison, but Bo Nix has been pretty solid. The rushing tandem of Ashton Jeanty and Trevion Henderson has worked well. Marvin Mims has been good, although much of the other receivers have been banged up, with Chris Brazzell missing time and his replacement, Mario Maddox, out for the next 4 weeks. Tree Babalade in his first full season as a starter has been kind of shaky so far. And the defense, especially the pass rush, I think has been pretty good. But they really struggled in the second half of our loss against Carolina. And we're hoping that we can figure some things out with an interesting schedule today. Worst part of the season, though, Will Lutz might be washed. 0 for 2 from 50+. I think both of his misses were short, which is certainly not a great look. So we've got the Raiders here in Week 5, a divisional round rematch. We beat them twice last year at home. Then a Super Bowl rematch against Seattle in Week 6. The Seahawks currently 0-4, followed by meetings with the Buccaneers on the road and then the New Orleans Saints back at home. 6 of our first 8 games of the year will be at home, which I find interesting, especially considering we are a very good home team. And our loss against Carolina last week snaps a double-digit home winning streak. We have not lost a game at home since year number 3 of the series. It's been a while. So let's look at the Raiders, who are currently 2-2. A lot of close games for them early on. 3 of their 4 games have been decided by 5 points. 2 of them decided by 3. They beat Carolina, who we lost to, but they also lost to the Chiefs, who we beat twice. Jalen Daniels, of course, leads the way. Broke out and led the Raiders to a playoff spot and win last year. This season, he's taken a step back, much more like his second year. He hasn't been bad per se, but I wouldn't say he's been good either. Devin Neal, the second-ranked running back in the game, hasn't necessarily played like it throughout the series, but the Raiders are counting on him to continue to get better, given that he has been awarded a massive extension. The reigning Offensive Player of the Year, Devontae Smith, will not play due to injury, thank God. So it'll be Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, the rookie Devin Hyatt, and Brock Bowers. Still a very strong group of receivers despite missing Devontae Smith. Defensively, they added Terrion Arnold, Vita Vea, and Cole Bishop in free agency. Arnold, of course, the big fish, is a 94 overall. One of the very best players we've seen enter the free agency pool really in the last decade. The Raiders have been aggressive. They want to take advantage of having a quarterback on a rookie contract because this is the last year Jalen Daniels will be cheap. He'll be on the 5th-year option next year, and then he will presumably sign an extension. We're 5 weeks in. Do you feel like you have a good idea of your team? Honestly, no. This team's been kind of weird so far, from the Chiefs game that we shouldn't have won to a little bit of inconsistencies on both sides of the ball. I don't think it's a question of if we're good, though. I think it's more so a question of what this team's true identity is, where the strengths are, and where the weaknesses are. I think the defense has been more consistent than the offense, but when you allow 41 points, it's hard to keep that rolling. We're a little bit banged up at the moment, and with recent injuries to Baron Browning and Mario Maddox, we're certainly hoping that the guys in their place will step up. At receiver, we'll probably see more Christian Horn, maybe more Alec Eyomanor, who finally gets to see the field after spending last year on the practice squad. And then defensively, I think Damon Clowney is going to be the guy who we see a lot more of with Baron Browning out of the lineup. Should be a fun one between a Raiders team who's probably had this game circled on their calendar. They had the crazy win in Las Vegas last year, but we blew them out at home in the regular season and in the divisional round. So you know they're hungry for revenge as Ryan Williams gets us started, bringing that one to the 49. Both teams started the game with early 3 and outs, so this is actually our second drive. Nix on 3rd and 2 has to throw it away under a lot of pressure. A quick start here for the defenses. In all 3 meetings with the Raiders last year, we had no problem moving the ball down the field and scoring. As we are going to go for it on 4th and 2, Jeanty will get the first down to the 37-yard line. A strong conversion from one of the NFL's more effective 4th down teams. As we now have it at the 37. Under pressure, Nix is wrapped up on the play. Henry To'o brings him down. After matching the yardage essentially on second down, it's 3rd and 11. Nix up the middle for his tight end, Harold Fannin, who gets the first down to the 22-yard line. Fannin a little dinged up on the play. He got injured early last week and missed pretty much the whole game. From the 22, RPO, Christian Horn with room, looks to outrun the defense, and he does! Christian Horn into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Broncos are on the board first. As I said, I think we're going to see more Christian Horn today with no Chris Brazzell or Mario Maddox. 7-0. So here's Jalen Daniels and company. After knocking in a first down on their opening drive, it's 3rd and 5. Daniels under pressure. He is sacked again. Aleem, the Dream, McNeil. We need more pressure from the interior. McNeil and Mykel Williams have been two of our few disappointing players so far this year. Williams in particular does not have a sack yet all year. 3rd and 2 now at the 30. Nix under center. Fullback Rivaldo Fairweather is in the game as it's play action. Nix hit as he throws, incomplete. Max Crosby sending pressure. Another 4th down decision. I think this time we're going to take the points. We're in field goal range, make it a 2-score lead. 47-yard try for Will Lutz is good. It squeaks through, and Denver will make it 10-0. I was a little worried that one was not going to go in. So here returns the Raiders offense, already down by double digits, as Daniels connects with Devin Hyatt, the first-rounder drafted from the University of Arizona, as he gets into the 44-yard line, and that will bring us into the second quarter. Hyatt's a guy who we're, of course, pretty familiar with being in the Big 12. He's got a knack for the end zone. He's athletic and instinctive. Wide open, Devin Neal past the 20. The Kansas quarterback throws to the Kansas running back, who breaks the tackle from the Kansas safety, and then wrapped up by Surtain, who does not have any ties to Kansas. Up the middle, it's Brock Bowers into the end zone for a score. A quick response for the Las Vegas Raiders. They are on the board as it's 10-7. Bowers now having to be the number 1, essentially, in the passing game with no Devontae Smith. 1 first down now from the 24 for the Broncos. Nix appears to be calling a switch at the line. He will look to throw it. Nix steps up into traffic. What was that? He's intercepted by Terrion Arnold. That might be the single worst decision I think I've ever seen Bo Nix make. I mean, there was no rationale for that. He was off balance on the run. The receivers were not open. I mean, there is no defending that play. That is brutal. Raiders back with it. Daniels up the middle. Fires to the 4-yard line. It's Jaden Higgins. Another Big 12 guy. The physical, big-bodied receiver in his 4th season out of Iowa State. 2nd and goal. Daniels under pressure, and he's wrapped up. Couple guys there in the backfield. I see Drew Sanders, and I see the rookie. Another Jayhawk. It's Seth Jennings with his first career sack, or I guess his first career half sack, as a Kansas defensive lineman sacks a Kansas quarterback. 3rd and goal at the 21. Daniels looks to throw it. We're rushing 3. We have 8 back. Okay, come on. Someone's got to get there. Come on. Someone's got to get there. Daniels has literally all day to throw it. It's been 15 seconds. Wide open. Back in the end zone. Touchdown. Devin Neal. I guess the Kansas influence of letting the offense do that when they're behind the sticks is rubbing off on us as well. I have never seen a quarterback had that much time. I mean, that was no exaggeration, about 15 seconds. I get that we only rushed 3, but still, somebody's got to get home quicker. We have at least one one-on-one matchup. You couldn't have won that faster. As Alek Yomanor does not get the first down. He's wrapped up by VJ Payne, a Kansas State player. We're going to go for it at our own 40-yard line because we've got our secret weapon, the big fella, Samu Tamumanpepe, to the 43. The Raiders might be one of the only teams who can offset him because they have Vita Vea, but even Vita Vea is not 380 pounds. 2nd and 10. Nix up the middle. He's got Marvin Mims, who wins the rep against Terrion Arnold, and he gets it to the 36-yard line. Good play after the catch by Mims. We're looking to get some momentum back. This has been a disastrous second quarter. We look dominant in the first, too, as Genty gets it to the left side. Big run for Ashton Genty as he gets 27. It's been a quiet start for Genty. Finally gets some space. He's able to make a big play. Wrapped up by a couple Raider defenders in the back end, including Colt Bishop, who, of course, we tried to sign in free agency. Henderson on 1st and goal, weaving through the defense, walks in for a score, and Trey Henderson puts the Broncos back ahead 17-14. We needed that drive after a pitiful showing early in the second quarter, allowing the touchdown to Bowers, the awful interception, the third in a million touchdown. 3rd and 7. Here's Jalen Daniels, launches a rocket down the field, tipped away. Incomplete. Benjamin Morrison makes the play. No one was open. He figures he might as well lob it up into triple coverage in the end zone. Not really a bad decision, even if it would have been intercepted. So Denver gets it back here at the 2-minute warning from the 20. Knicks on first down, goes short. Ryan Williams blows by V.J. Payne and is wrapped up at the 41 by Tremaine Edmonds. That'll stop the clock, so we don't have to use a timeout. Following play, Knicks under a little pressure, goes right back up the middle. Ryan Williams again. He's going horizontally, trying to get out of bounds, and he does. Wrapped up by a couple guys. Why is Marvin Grant celebrating so much? I mean, I get we got a nice gain, but, like, it wasn't that good. Trey Henderson on 3rd and 5, stopped just shy by the Raiders. It's Tremaine Edmonds. Vita Vea hurt on the play. That is not good news for them, especially considering it's a 4th and inches, and you best believe who's coming in the game at fullback. The big fella, 9, Samu Tamu to the 35. We really have our own version of the tush push. This is going to be unstoppable. I cannot wait for it to be like a playoff game or something, and we just cheat code him the entire way. He has like 10 carries for 14 yards and 4 touchdowns in a win. At the 27, Mims gets us to the 15. Tick, 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 tick. 30 seconds to go. Knicks looking, end zone, touchdown! Ryan Williams with a great play. The throw was not perfect, so he has to come back to the ball while also kind of boxing out the defensive back in a way to make sure there's no chance that he can make a play on the football. Very savvy maneuver by the 21-year-old Ryan Williams, as it's a 10-point lead again for Denver. Daniels up the middle, big play. The Rizzler, Rizzy Pearsall to the 36, and that will get them in field goal range. Certainly not the end of the first half we wanted defensively, because we were starting to get our look back after, obviously, the rough stretch earlier. Going to call a timeout. We will bring Ryan Williams back deep to potentially return this kick if it's short. 53-yard try for the Raiders is up, and it is good. Definitely at the distance. Could have the distance from 63 possibly. There was a late hit on the kicker. It's not going to matter. The Raiders are just going to take the points. But that could have been bad if, there wasn't 3 seconds left in the first half. So we're going to run one more play. We might as well give it a shot. As Knicks will hand it off here to Ashton Jeanty to the left side. Whoop! Jukes away from Arnold. Flag on the play, but there goes Jeanty! Down the field, shoved away by Avion Terrell. It's not going to matter. It'll be a holding on the offense. Although, interestingly, the Raiders declined the penalty. So they're going to let Jeanty keep his 40-yard gain. How classy. Would I have done that? No. Not even for Devin Neal, who I would try to be biased for, if anything. 24-17, very interesting game so far. Both quarterbacks playing well. Jalen Daniels, 12 of 18, 171, 2 scores. Bo Nix, 13 of 22, 173, 2 touchdowns, and maybe the worst interception I've ever seen in my entire life. Both running backs have been good. Devin Neal's been great through the air. 3 catches, 51 yards, and a score. And Jeanty, of course, nearly 100 yards rushing. 2nd and 10. Daniels has plenty of time again. Are we going to send some freaking pressure? There we go! In the backfield with a sack. Devon Clowney is joined by Michael Williams. Finally! Williams with his first half sack of the year. He saved it all for the Super Bowl when he had like 3 last year. 3rd and 18. Daniels zings it up the middle. Bowers with a first down near the 50. Is this team really going to take the Kansas thing of not playing behind the sticks? The Raiders have had a 3rd and 21 and a 3rd and 18 today and have converted both of them. 2nd and 10 at the 48 now. Daniels under pressure. He cannot escape. It's Michael Williams again. Where's this guy been the first 4 weeks of the year? Williams coming alive here in the second half, as that'll make it a 3rd down and 26 for the Raiders. Daniels looks to throw it under more pressure, and he is sacked again. Didn't lose any yards. I think they'll credit him. It's Jack Sawyer who makes the play. The pass rush coming alive on this possession with, I guess, 3 sacks. I don't know if they're going to count that, but, I mean, it was a good play by Sawyer. Denver has it back up by 7. Knicks, first play of the drive, under a ton of pressure, looking deep. He's got Henderson. Travion Henderson from one 27-yard line to the other with a gain of 46 yards. He was completely wide open, uncovered. 3rd and 10 now at the 27. Nix looks to throw it. He will step up and run, scrambles, has a rushing lane, gets the first down, tries to juke away from Tremaine Edmonds, and he gets 18 yards, wrapped up at the 9. Very solid run by Bo Nix, looking awfully bodacious so far on this drive. 2nd and goal, short throw, Marvin Mims, juke move, Mims is in for a score. What a play after the catch by marvelous Marvin Mims. 31-17, Las Vegas gets it back halfway through the 3rd. Daniels at the 30, sacked again. Mykel Williams all of a sudden is putting on a show. Over his career, he's been pretty hot and cold. Fittingly, over the first 4.5 games of the year, he gets no sacks. Over the last 6 snaps, he is 2.5. 3rd and 3, broken up by Ben Morrison. The defense playing very well. Exquisite, one might say, to start the 3rd quarter. On 3rd down, good catch by Williams, wrapped up hard by Trayvon Merrig. That is the definition of a hospital ball. Was Bo Nix trying to kill his receiver? I mean, Merrig could have ripped his head off if he wanted to. Raiders back with it. Here's Devin Neal down the field. Surtain tries to catch him, and he does, but not before getting to the 28. A gain of 42 yards for the all-explosive, real-deal Devin Neal. A big play there for the Raiders, who are potentially in business early in the 4th quarter, trying to make it a 1-score game with Neal in the zone as he gets it. Breaks a tackle, gets by another defender, and is wrapped up by his former teammate Marvin Grant at the 9. Now from the 3. 3rd down and goal for Las Vegas. Neal gets it back, and he is short. Good tackle there. Nice play by the defense. It's Jaden Hicks who brings him down. 4th and goal at the 1. It's not too early for the Raiders to go forward as the offense stays on the field. It's a QB draw, and Daniels is smothered. Damon Clowney leads the way along with Jeffrey Bossa. A goal line stand and a very bad 4th down play call by the Raiders. I mean, if you want to run it with Daniels, I would think a read option or certainly a QB sneak makes a lot more sense. Janty on 3rd and 2 gets nothing. Nnamdi Madubuike brings him down. So we're not able to too much clock. And the Raiders are going to get it back at the 47. 3rd and 1. Neal does not get it. Great tackle by Jeffrey Bossa, who's in the zone. 4th and 1, under 4 to go. Obviously, the Raiders don't really have a choice. They're going to go for it. Daniels up the middle, caught for a first down to the 46. Nice snag there to keep the drive and thus probably the game going. At the 32, Raiders going no huddle. That one is hauled in. Nice juke move. Broken tackle. Out to the 12, it's Jeremiah Noga. On 3rd and 5, Daniels is sacked. Couple of defenders there to bring him down. I think Drew Sanders was one of them. Jackson Powers Johnson hurt on the play. That'll make it a 4th and 12 at the 14. Daniels all alone and empty. Under pressure, he is sacked again. What a showing in the second half by this pass rush. 3 sacks in the second half by Mykel Williams. Joined on that play by Benjamin Morrison. And the Broncos improved to 4-1 as the Raiders do not get revenge. That's 3 consecutive wins against Las Vegas in this building. Unlike the first 2 times, though, the Raiders did keep this game somewhat competitive. What I find interesting was that this was kind of a shootout early, and then nobody scored in the last 15 minutes of the game. It was 31-17 halfway through the 3rd, and then nobody scored after that. The Raiders only scored in the 2nd quarter. So while our defense had some rough stretches, including the 3rd and 21 touchdown, I'm not going to talk about that play again because that was pitiful. Otherwise, the defense was pretty good. Bo Nix was solid as well. Him and Jalen Daniels with very similar numbers. I would say they had similar performances. Both were good. Neither, I would say, were great, but both played very productive games with their passer ratings above 110 each. On the ground, 126 yards for Ashton Jeanty. He was good, as was Devin Neal. He had one of his better games as a Raider. And Travion Henderson had some solid runs as well, although he was a little bit banged up as the game went along. And shout out the big fella, Tamuman Pepe. Through the air, Ryan Williams stood out, 87 yards and a score. Mims with a touchdown as well. Devin Neal and Brock Bowers were productive. The receivers for the Raiders were solid. But they certainly missed Devontae Smith out there, especially considering how good he was last year. Their offensive line was abysmal. Our pass rush was on another planet. Mykel Williams took over the game in the second half. Damon Clowney, I thought, played great in place of Baron Browning. And then the Terrion Arnold interception. That was also a brutal play. I mean, we had a really complete team performance for the most part, other than those two awfully, I guess now looking back, hilarious plays. Let's try to avoid those bad mistakes in the future because they could cost us games. Luckily, they did not today. So we're going to simulate the week. Let's take a look at some scores across the rest of the NFL. The Patriots ended up losing, so there's no more undefeated teams in the AFC, and we are back as the number 1 seed for what it's worth. The Seahawks lost again. They are 0-5, dropping to the Buccaneers, who we play next week on Monday Night Football. So not only did the Seahawks apparently stink, but they're also going to have a short week as well, which does not help their case. Players of the week, couple of Cowboys, Haynes King and Micah Parsons, joined by Joe Burrow and Matthew McDoom. Into week 6 now, the Seattle Seahawks head to Denver to face off against the Broncos, a rematch of Super Bowl 62. It feels like every year one of the two Super Bowl teams has the Super Bowl hangover, and that has been the case with the Seahawks. They have been really bad across the board. The offense has been below average. The passing offense has been the strength of their team, even though Avery Johnson hasn't even been good. And then their defense sucks. 31st scoring defense. They've allowed at least 28 points in all 5 games so far this year. That is not good. And it's not even like they've played against the best of competition. I mean, the Cardinals have not been great throughout the series. New England, they've been a lot better this year, obviously, with Kate Klubnik, but historically, they have not been great in this series either. It's pretty much the same team that Seattle had last year. They ran it back, and it just has not really worked. Avery Johnson is tied for the highest-rated player on the roster. He's a 93, but he hasn't really looked like it for Seattle at all this year. And his numbers weren't even that great last year, but obviously he found ways to win playoff games, lead them to the Super Bowl as a 22-year-old. But he hasn't been all that good this year. His interception rate is up. His touchdown rate is down. Career low in completion percentage. The guy I'm most worried about, though, is Kenneth Walker. He nearly beat us by himself in the Super Bowl. And he's going to have some help in the backfield. Justice Haynes was not healthy in the Super Bowl. He is today. And they've got some rookies behind him with Jarvis Green and Hollywood Smothers. They are going to be without a couple of pass catchers. No Jackson Smith and Jigba today. He was a non-factor in the Super Bowl and obviously will be again. So behind DK Metcalf and Antonio Williams, we'll see Jeremiah McClellan and Matthew Golden. No Cole Kmet as well. He was a factor in the Super Bowl. He had over 100 yards, so they certainly will be missing him. The defense is pretty much a copy and paste of last year's group, which makes it all the more surprising that their defense has been god-awful this year. I mean, it's a talented group, especially in the secondary, but they have been stinky on that side of the ball. So we'll see if the offense can put up a good showing after they played pretty well in the second half against the Super Bowl against these guys. And obviously, Seattle has not recovered or won since that game. But I'm sure if there's any game they would like to win, it would definitely be this one as they look to get revenge on the Broncos. 3rd and 6 at the 37. Nix under pressure rolls out, and he will throw out of the sack. Ashton Gelati leads the way. Boye Mafe was there as well. I will say it'd be a pretty bad look if we beat the Kansas quarterback and then lose to the Kansas State one. As Johnson is picked off! Patrick Surtain! Deja vu! All the way into the end zone with a pick six! And the Broncos score first, just like in the Super Bowl. Surtain with the house call on the interception. And the Super Bowl 62 MVP is the first to score here in the rematch. 3rd and 10, Johnson with a great throw into the hands of the new starting tight end, Jake Johnson. No relation between the two, but Jake is the brother of former UNC quarterback Max Johnson, as Avery Johnson is wrapped up for a sack. Mykel Williams with some words after, along with Nick Bonito. Avery Johnson does not like it after Mykel Williams tortured him in the Super Bowl. 3rd and 17, it's a screen. Justice Haynes with it, and he will certainly get Seattle into comfortable field goal range, although it's not going to be enough for the first down. It's a gain of around 11. Kicking team on, it is a 45-yard field goal try for Justin Tutcher. And his kick will split through the uprights. That'll make it 7-3. Hopefully not too much activity in the Denver masseuse parlors this week as the Broncos get it back. Here is Bo Nix at the 38. Under pressure, he is wrapped up. Boye Mafe brings him down. He's off to a good start, matching up with Tyler Johnson, the rookie tackle. Andrew Thomas a little bit banged up earlier. Marvin Mims takes a shot on the RPO, unable to hold on to the ball. At least Mims held on to it in the Super Bowl with his 11 catches in that game. Seahawks back with it. 2nd and inches. Avery Johnson, play action. Looks to throw it up the middle. Intercepted! Colin Wright picks it off. Avery Johnson was intercepted twice in the first quarter at the Super Bowl. Here in the rematch, he's picked off twice in the first quarter again. Right on the board, his first interception of the year. His first interception since all the way back in week 1 of last season. It's been a while. Denver back with it with very good field position at the 42. Genty with room to the left. Jukes away from Marcus Williams. He gets it to the 26. That's Byron Murphy, hurt for Seattle, one of their key cogs up front. As it is 2nd and 10 at the 26 now. Bo Nix hands it off. Genty on the RPO with room up the middle. Wrapped up by Billy Bowman, but not before getting it to the 8. Genty's playing some of the best football of his career so far this year. He's healthy, and he looks really good. Flag on the play, RPO. Marvin Mims walks into the end zone for a touchdown. We'll see what the flag is. For now, it's a 2-score game. They're panning the camera to Tariq Woolen, so that makes me kind of think it's on him. And sure enough, he is called for an offsides. So the penalty will be declined. It's a touchdown for Marvin Mims. 14-3. What a start here in the rematch for the Denver Broncos. Seattle back with it at the 24. Johnson by himself in the backfield, looking to throw it on first down. Looking deep, and it is caught! Metcalf, what a catch! Surtain running with him all the way to the 25-yard line. Metcalf puts him on a poster. DK had a really solid game in the Super Bowl, and he's off to a big play early in this one. Following play, Johnson intercepted again! Surtain, his 2nd of the game! Looking for another pick 6! Johnson looking to catch up, and he will track him down at the 1! Pat Surtain with another interception. Avery Johnson has been picked off 3 times here in the first quarter. He has one-upped his Super Bowl start. Denver has it inside the 5. Genty walks into the end zone. Actually, he Naruto ran. It is 21-3. We're not even playing well on offense. We have negative passing yards so far in this game, but despite that, it is 21-3 in the first quarter. Seattle is outgaining us 133-49. They have 118 passing yards to our -1. Yet we are up by 18 because of the 3 interceptions, 2 from Surtain, 1 from Colin Wright. A horrible start for Avery Johnson. As he goes short, gets it to Antonio Williams, flipped up by Colin Wright, but not before gaining 18 yards. Benito banged up on the play. That's disappointing because he didn't even get to play in the Super Bowl, if you remember. I'm sure he really had this game circled on his calendar, more so than anybody else on our team. But unfortunately, he's out for the game. Uyunglele jumped, no flag, as Walker's going backwards on 2nd and goal. Couple of guys there to bring him down, including Michael Williams, who's been dominant over his last 4 quarters. 3rd and goal, misfires. He was looking for Johnson. You can take the Wildcat out of Kansas State, but you cannot take the Kansas State out of the Wildcat. Justin Tugger on to kick. His field goal is good from 20. And the well-known woman-respecting kicker will make it 21-6. So if nothing else, Seattle's offense with a nice drive. Denver gets it back. Still negative passing yards, and we're 15 minutes into the game. Nix on the run, scrambles, stiff arms the defender. Oh my goodness. He sent Ashton Gelati to the ground. Byron Murphy injured again for Seattle. Not good news for them, as it is 3rd and 2 at the 32. Nix and Genty in the backfield. We'll see what Bo has up his sleeve here, as it's Genty. Does not get it, loses a yard. Boye Mafe's had a nice first half. The rookie tackle, Tyler Johnson, has kind of struggled in this game. 51-yard field goal here for Big Nuts Lutz. Nearly blocked, but it is good. Makes it, much like he did in the Super Bowl. Pretty much all the guys who tortured Seattle in that Super Bowl game are torturing them here, except for Chris Brazzell, who's hurt. I wish he could have gotten to participate in the festivities as well. There's a good throw, though. Antonio Williams to the 35. Solid coverage by Surtain, but even better offense. 30 seconds to go. Avery Johnson. He's going to roll out, scrambles. He will get by Aleem McNeil with room to run. Inside the 10, inside the 5. Fumbles the ball, and it's out of bounds. Nearly a fourth turnover by Johnson. Marvin Grant decks it away. That may very well be the difference between 7 points, because now Seattle has a great chance to punch it in. First and goal at the 2 with 23 seconds. Kenneth Walker walks into the end zone for a touchdown. Get it? Because his name is Walker. I'm sorry, that was bad. But Seattle's going to make it a game. They are only down by 11. Certainly could have gone a lot worse for them considering how bad the first quarter went. Again, I feel like the offense really has not played all that well for us so far. Avery Johnson has 199 yards while Bo Nix has 46. The difference is the nearly 4 interceptions. Surtain drops it. Would have been his third of the game. But Avery Johnson's been picked off 3 times in this game. Bo Nix has been picked off 3 times all year. 3rd and 10. Johnson hit as he throws. Wow, that was a great play. Got to give credit where credit's due. It's Antonio Williams, one of the few standouts in the first half for Seattle. 5 catches now, nearly 70 yards on the game, as Seattle has it at the 28. They can make it a 1-score game on this drive. Avery Johnson under pressure. Hit as he throws, incomplete there on 3rd down. Good job there by Drew Sanders to get into the backfield, and that will bring out Justin Tucker. It's a 45-yard try. This kick is up, and it is touched through. So with that, Seattle is within 1 score. I think they were down by as many as 18 after that disastrous first quarter. But again, we really have not played very well on offense. Only 106 offensive yards in the first half. There's a nice throw and catch, though, to Marvin Mims. Certainly want to get more from the passing game. Our receivers have been quiet. Our leading receiver in the first half had 13 yards. Travion Henderson weaves his way through the defense, breaks a tackle, and gets around 21 yards to the 18. Really good run by Trey. Denver in the red zone trying to quickly make it a 2-score game. 3rd and 3 at the 11. Nix up the middle. It's broken up. In and out of the hands of Ryan Williams, although really that was another hospital ball. Man, Bo Nix really wants him dead. I get as an Auburn guy, he probably doesn't like Alabama, but still, chill. That's your teammate. Kick is good for Lutz. It's an 11-point lead, so we're back up by 2 scores. We'll see what we can get here from the defense. Much like the Super Bowl, Avery Johnson's numbers are good outside of the interceptions, but that has certainly plagued him and has plagued the scoreboard. Johnson goes short. It's Caden Prescorn who gets only 4. Wrapped up on the play by guess who? Pat Surtain. Denver gets the stop. Why are they dapping each other up? He's acting like he gained 40, but he only gained 4. Okay, then. You do you. I guess there's a culture of losing in Seattle. 3rd and 4. Genty, juke move, loses a yard. Billy Bowman is the one who stops him. Riley Mills with some words for Genty. And we are going to punt it away. I know we're past the 50, but it's 4th and 5, not 4th and 2. Looks like a pretty good kick here from Jake Camarda, and it is stopped. Actually, it rolls out of bounds. That was not stopped by Earl Culp. He probably should have tried to touch it, but hey, that works too. 3rd and 6 at the 5. They'll go for the screen. Kenneth Walker does not get it. Another 3rd down tackle by Patrick Surtain to start the 4th. Denver with the stop. They'll get great field position since Seattle had to punt it inside the 10. 3rd and 2 at the 35. Bo Nix looks to throw it. Nix for the sideline. It's caught! Ryan Williams drags the feet inbounds despite strong coverage by Devin Witherspoon. And the Broncos have it at the 10. 3rd and 1. Nix looks to throw it. Rolls out to the right. And his pass is caught. That is a touchdown for Christian Horn. He has 2 catches in today's episode, and both have gone for touchdowns. He just has a natural knack for the end zone. That's been the case since we signed him as an undrafted free agent all the way back in year number 1. And there's a reason why he's been able to stick around. Nice 4th down conversion there for DK Metcalf, keeping it alive for Seattle, who finds themselves trailing again by 3 scores. The 18-point deficit that we saw in the first quarter is back. Problem is, instead of 30 minutes left, there's 5. 3rd and 4, another TFL for Jeffrey Bassa, who leads the league in TFLs. Marvin Grant there to help as well for cleanup duty. Seahawks are going to go for it again here on 4th and 5. Johnson looks to throw it, goes short. Curls get the girls. Nice catch by DK Metcalf. Takes one on the chin from Colin Wright, but is able to get the first down. Now at the goal line, 3rd and goal at the 1. Johnson looks to throw it, looking for the back of the end zone. Picked again. Pat Surtain, a hat trick. He had 2 in the Super Bowl, gets 3 today. I think the craziest part about this for Pat is that nobody across the NFL had more than 2 interceptions through the first 5 weeks of the year. Well, he gets 3 today, 4 on the year. Now to wrap this one up, 34-16. The Seahawks do not get revenge for the Super Bowl loss, and they fall to 0-6. Dominant first quarter from the Broncos with 3 interceptions. We scored 3 touchdowns directly off of the interceptions, including 1 pick six by Pat Surtain and another interception to the 1, also by Pat Surtain. Avery Johnson did some good things, but you cannot throw 4 interceptions and expect to win. So since we were up by so much the whole game, we didn't really have Bo Nix throwing the ball downfield. It was ball control, balanced approach on offense. He only averaged around 5 yards per attempt. His longest throw was 17 yards. We just had him throwing checkdowns, playing point guard today. And, well, obviously he was more effective than Avery Johnson was. We certainly ran the ball a lot, given that we had the lead the whole game. Genty was solid, so was Travion Henderson. Kenneth Walker only 2.9 yards a carry. He was really quiet. Avery Johnson ran it well, though. 9 carries for a very quiet 80 yards. I know he had a couple good scrambles. I didn't realize he had 80. His longest run was only 18 yards, so he was very balanced throughout the game. 7 for 96 for Williams, Antonio Williams, that is. DK Metcalf had a couple big plays, but also a couple of drops. The DK Metcalf experience. Defensively, we played a really strong game. Obviously, the turnovers, the biggest reason why we won. 4 interceptions and a forced fumble. The pass rush was honestly not great. We only had 1 sack. But 3 interceptions by Surtain, another one by Wright. Forced fumble at the end of the first half by Marvin Grant. And after that play, Seattle ended up scoring their only touchdown of the game. We do have a new injury, and while it's not a starter, it's a pretty big piece for us, pun intended. Samu Tamu will miss the next 4 weeks. That is not what we were hoping for. 45-9, good God, Atlanta beats the brakes off of the Washington Commanders. As for your players of the week, Sawyer Robertson, Anthony Richardson, Nick Eamon-Worry, and obviously Pat Surtain with 3 interceptions and a pick 6. So that brings us into week 7. I will point out, Genty's 2nd in rushing. Surtain leads in interceptions. Look who's 2nd in sacks. Dakias Brinkley with 8. And I'm not going to talk about the receiving list that has 2 Washington Huskies in 1st and 2nd. You know the game is unrealistic when Jalen Polk leads the league in receiving. So we're playing against the Buccaneers, one of the lower-rated rosters in the game, but they're 4-2. Sawyer Robertson, of course, just won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I'm excited to play against him. The Buccaneers statistically had the #1 passing offense in the NFL. And it's interesting with Robertson because, remember, they had a high pick in the 2nd draft of the series where they drafted a QB, but it was not him. It was Connor Wegman from Texas A&M, but they drafted Robertson that same year on day 3. Robertson's become the guy, though. It's an RG3 Kirk Cousins situation. I contemplated trading for Connor Wegman in the offseason, and had Bo Nix not led us to the Super Bowl, it's probably something I would have looked into a little bit more. But regardless, the Buccaneers are the franchise quarterback. Not really how they expected it, but they'll take it. Robertson had a great season last year. Statistically, he's been quite a bit worse this year. Completion percentage down, interceptions up, but he does lead the NFL in passing yards. He's got a solid group of skill positions with him. My glorious king, my Pookie Bear, my world, my knight in shining armor, Bucky Irving. But really, their starting running back is actually the rookie Caden Durham, drafted in the 3rd round out of LSU, was at his best in the slot playing receiver for the Tigers, and the Buccaneers do use him at both running back and receiver. The reigning Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tyler Brown, headlines the receiving core along with Evan Stewart and Nick Harbor. They've got some good players on defense. Roquan Smith, Kobe Bryant, another former Kansas Jayhawk who's developed into one of the best corners in the league. Coleman Vivian, the 86 overall center. How did they get both Coleman Vivian and Caden Durham, two of the highest rated players in the draft? BJ Ojulari, the former Bronco, here as well. Should be a fun one here in Tampa. Just the second road game all season for us. We won our first game on the road back in week 3. Granted, we probably should not have won it. I'm excited to play against Sawyer Robertson, though. We haven't gotten to see him yet in the NFL with the Buccaneers. Even though he was a day 3 pick, he certainly looks the part as their franchise quarterback. Even with his inconsistencies this year, the Bucs feel like they have their guy, especially after winning the Offensive Player of the Week last week, as that ball was sent a long way on third down. I mean, that went behind the line of scrimmage. That was like 20 yards deflected in the air. So 3 and out for Tampa Bay. Denver has it on offense at the 37. Genty loses 3. Kalijah Cansey brings him down. A team captain, one of the better players on this defense, former first-rounder out of Pitt. 3rd and 7 from the 40. Knicks joined by Travion Henderson in the backfield. Chris Brazel's back for the first time since week 2. He's in motion as this one is caught and will not go for a first down, though, as the Buccaneers get the stop. Ty Wise brings him down, the young linebacker from the University of Miami of Ohio. At the 19, Sawyer Robertson hit as he throws. Sacked on the play by Nick Bonito. We do have a flag. It's a holding on the offense, so do you take the extra yardage or the down? We're going to take the down. We're going to decline the penalty. The sack still counts for Nick Bonito. 3rd and 16, backed up at the 13. Sawyer Robertson looks to throw it. Has time, launches a rocket deep down the field. It is broken up. Looking for Evan Stewart, but Javon McIntyre gets his mitts on it. Denver gets the stop. They'll get it back. Still no score. 3rd down and 4. Bo Nix looks to throw it up the middle. Travion Henderson with plenty of space up the field. Hit hard past the 30 at the 29. Good play there for Denver as we look to be the first to score against the Buccaneers. 3rd and 8 at the 27. Bo Nix alone in the backfield. Looks to throw it under pressure. Goes short. Ryan Williams launched on his backside. I mean, are these guys trying to kill him? That's 3 weeks in a row. Roquan Smith delivers the boom. 38-yard field goal for Will Lutz is right down the middle. Lutz, of course, has played in this stadium many times with the New Orleans Saints, and he'll get to play against his former team next week. Tampa Bay back with it. 2nd and 10. Sawyer Robertson looks to throw it. That one is caught. 1st and more. Breaking a couple tackles. That is the tight end, Gavin Hoffman, the rookie out of the University of Iowa, to start the second quarter. 2nd and goal at the 1. Caught in the end zone. It's Hoffman again. Touchdown representing Tight End University. No celebrations, though. Strictly business. As it's 7-3. Tampa Bay ahead. Denver gets it back at the 24. Bo Nix rolls out. Under pressure, trying to get something here on the run. It's caught. How did he make that happen? It's Marvin Mims to the 43, quickly wrapped up by Kobe Bryant. We'd spend the next 4 minutes moving the ball down the field slowly but surely. Now at the 16, 3rd and 5. Nix rolls out to the right again, looking to outrun the defense. He's got plenty of space inside the 10. Not quite in the end zone. He's stopped short by Yaya Diaby, but he does get it to the 1. Denver looking to punch it in. Bo Nix, QB sneak! And he is in for the score. I wish we could have given the ball to the big fella, Tamu Mampepe, but with his injury, we've got to resort to normal QB sneaks like normal teams. 10-7, Bucs back with it. 3rd down and 4th to 40. Robertson broken away by Patrick Surtain. Good coverage there defensively by the Denver defense. Defensively, we're looking really good today, not just in this game, but in this episode overall. At the 26, bad throw, picked off. Jamel Dean with plenty of space. Bo Nix tries to catch him, tackles him in the end zone. It's a pick 6, and the Buccaneers take the lead. Not a good decision there by Bo Nix. He was throwing it, expecting Marvin Mims to be open when the ball got there. The problem is, Mims never got open. Great coverage by Jamel Dean. And the Buccaneers are back ahead 14-10. Only a minute 15 left for the Broncos. We do have all 3 timeouts as that one is broken away. Looking for Ryan Williams. It's Jamel Dean again. Tampa Bay can make it a 2-score lead. 54 seconds for the Bucs. It is a 3rd down and 5 at the 38. Robertson under pressure. Hit as he throws incomplete. Drew Sanders in the backfield making the play. It's been a defensive battle here in this first half. Neither offense particularly effective. Jeanty on 3rd and 10, lost a yard. It has been tough sledding for our run game today. As a team, our running backs have 5 carries for 7 yards. Bucs have it back late in the half. Up the middle, big hit, but a nice catch. That's big game Gabe. Gabe Davis to the 41-yard line. The Buccaneers are going to bring out the field goal team. It is a 58-yard try from their kicker, Jason Sanders, and he nails it. What a kick for Sanders, who has not been very efficient this year, but he sinks the 58-yarder, the longest kick of his NFL career, which says something. He's had some long ones. 17-10 into the break. Not much going offensively. The Bucs do get a little momentum, but both quarterbacks have been inefficient. Only 60% completion percentage for Bo Nix, just 52 for Sawyer Robertson. Here's a nice play, though. 3rd and 6. Marvin Mims with it. He gets it to the 47. Got to get more from the run game, though. 4 carries, 6 yards for Jeanty. 1 carry, 1 yard for Travion Henderson as he's going backwards for a loss of 3. Kalijah Cansey, he's having a nice game. Another TFL for the Pitt Panther. That'll make it a 3rd and 13 at the 39. Nix, play action, looks to throw it. Has a couple guys open, looking deep for Chris Brazzell. Outruns Kobe Bryant and gets it to the 4. Great play there by Chris Brazzell the second. I think we have to call him the second today because the Buccaneers on defense have the other Chris Brazzell on their team. 2nd and goal. Jeanty gets a block, walks in for his score. Denver ties it for now. We have the penalty on the play, though, and unfortunately, I think this one is coming back. A holding call on the center, Gus Hartwig. So the touchdown is all for naught. Denver pushed all the way back to the 15. The one time we get a good run, doesn't matter because of the penalty. 3rd and goal. Nix under pressure, looking for the end zone. It's caught! Dialing up the defense. A great throw. Harold Fannin ties it up at 17. Great drive early in the second half for an offense who has not been great so far. That'll return the Tampa Bay offense. I know they scored 17 points in the first half, but remember, much of that came from the pick 6 by Jamel Dean. Up the middle, Tyler Brown with a big play past the 30. They're certainly looking to get him more involved. Brown only had 1 catch for 5 yards in the first half, so you best believe they're going to get him active here in the second half. Everybody in motion here for the Bucs. Tyler Brown is the one in the backfield. Play action for him, looking deep. Evan Stewart's got it! Walks into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Buccaneers are back ahead. Nice play there from Stewart, who's had a very solid season. Him and Tyler Brown, one of the better young wide receiver duos in the league. The new Evans and Godwin for this team. Bo Nix scrambles, looking deep, and it's caught! Oh my goodness, what a throw into the basket! That was good coverage by Brandon Stevens, but Nix floats it just over him for Marvin Mims. That was a ballsy throw. Play action at the 21, up the middle. Mims again beats Stevens once more and brings it to the 4. It's been a busy third quarter for marvelous Marvin Mims. 3rd and goal at the 4, looking to tie it up. Bo Nix looks to throw it. Jeanty popped out of his hands. Kobe Bean is the one with the deflection, rock chalk. It's his 4th season, yet we have not gotten to see him in the NFL until today. Field goal kick is up and good. That'll make it 24-20. I do feel kind of bad for Kobe Bryant because everybody he was teammates with in the secondary is winning Super Bowls. Mello Dotson and Devin Dye each have 2 rings with the Cowboys. Marvin Grant has a championship with us. Javon McIntyre does as well, even though he never would have been teammates with Bryant. Yet he's stuck here in Tampa Bay. As Sawyer Robertson is going to throw out of the sack. That'll be a 3 and out. Denver back with it, 3rd and 6. Nix floats it up, down the field, a little too much on it as it goes out of bounds, looking for Ryan Williams. Good coverage by Jamel Dean, who's had one hell of a game. Long punt from Camarda over to Evan Stewart as he breaks a tackle, fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the defense. Damon Clowney is the one with the force and the recovery. That was definitely a fumble. Ball did come out. Denver with a huge special teams turnover, and it will result in a 7-point swing. Marvin Mims waltzes into the end zone for a touchdown, And the Broncos take the lead 27-24 off of the great special teams play by Clowney, who I think has done a great job over the last few weeks with no Baron Browning. 2nd and 8, 5.5 to go. Robertson wide open. Tyler Brown, Bucs back ahead. That is some of the most pitiful coverage I've ever seen. Javon McIntyre was supposed to cover the deep zone. That was a cover 4. We should have 4 guys back there. Why is McIntyre going in? That's a horrible play. Broncos back with it, 3rd and 8, under 5 to go. Bo Nix scrambles to the left, trying to create some magic, and he cannot. Shoved to the ground by Anthony Lucas. The Bucs with the stop. They'll get it back up by 4, looking to choose some clock and try to really seal the deal here. With Caden Durham in the backfield, he will line out as a receiver, his specialty. 3rd and 3, Sawyer Robertson alone in the backfield as he will go up the middle, and it is Durham with a first down, wrapped up by Jeffrey Bossa. I love that the Bucs are using him much like LSU did by lining him up all over the field. That's a big reason why he was so dangerous for the Tigers offense a season ago. At the 25, back to Durham, and he is pushed out of bounds by Jeffrey Bossa. Not only is it a TFL, but it stops the clock. Bossa let him break part of the tackle to make sure he would go out of bounds. Smart play by our stud linebackers. That one is incomplete. That'll stop the clock again. Bucs are not doing a very good job of burning this time away. They're going to pass it again. It's an RPO. Tyler Brown gets a block. First down inside the 5, and he's in for a touchdown. The Buccaneers did not chew any clock on that series, but I guess they didn't really need to because they score. Tyler Brown makes it an 11-point lead with 1.5 minutes to go. Denver needs a lot to go their way. Nick's up the middle. Big hit. Mims absorbs the contact from Roquan Smith. Under a minute now, 3rd and 4. Nix coughs it up. Strip sack recovered by the defense, and that should do it. Tyke Smith forces and recovers the fumble for Tampa Bay. First down ends it for the Bucs. 3rd and 12. Durham gets nothing. Might have lost a yard. Denver, I guess, stays alive technically. Benjamin Morrison with the TFL. At the 47, Nix looks to throw it, looking deep, and it is picked off. Now that will do it. Kobe Bryant, his first interception of the year. The Broncos come into Tampa and are unable to defeat the Buccaneers, as this one will go in the loss column. 38-27. This Bucs team is legit. They are now 5-2. Even in a game where Sawyer Robertson did not play his best, he did throw 4 touchdowns, but he missed a lot of throws. The rest of the team was able to step up. They forced 3 turnovers, granted 2 of which came in the final minute. So I'm not too concerned about those from Bo Nix. The second interception and the fumble, I mean, he's just trying to get something out of nothing. The other interception was pretty bad, though. But overall, he had a pretty good game. We had to throw the ball a lot, 46 times. He had 377 yards because we couldn't run it at all. 4 scores for Robertson, but he completed less than 60% of his passes. The run game was a disaster. Genty did nothing. Trevion Henderson did absolutely nothing through the air. Mims, Stewart, Tyler Brown all playing well. And then defensively, not a great showing in the second half. We played well early, but certainly not as the game went along. We didn't force any defensive turnovers, only the one on special teams from Clowney, and we only had 1 sack. When you're not making enough big plays, and the offense has 3 passing touchdowns in the second half, probably not going to win the game. We do have a new injury, unfortunately, as this one will go to the left tackle, Andrew Thomas. Dislocated his hip. He should be on the Golden State Warriors. He'll be out for 5 weeks, but we will get back Francis Mauigoa, who is out for this game, and then Rasheed Walker and Baron Browning, who have been out for the last few weeks. Across the NFL, I think one of the big storylines for me that we haven't really talked about is the Los Angeles Chargers, who beat the Texans, who are now 0-7. The Chargers are now 5-2, tied for first place with us in the division. LA is ahead of the Chiefs and the Raiders. Sawyer Robertson wins the Player of the Week again, along with Josh Allen, Jesse Bates, and TJ Quinn. I get Robertson at 4 touchdowns. I don't really think he deserved it, though. I mean, he missed a lot of throws. I wasn't that impressed, to be completely honest. But he wins it again, 2 weeks consecutively, as that brings us to week number 8 against the Saints, the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. Through the first 4 weeks of the year, they were playing great on that side of the ball, but they've cooled off. They let up 35 in back-to-back games. Granted, against the Chiefs and the Bucs, and we know those offenses can score. They're also coming off a bye week, so that certainly goes to their favor. But at 3-3, they certainly need all the help we can get, and we have not helped them, given that our 2 losses are to the Panthers and the Falcons. Carson Beck, the starting quarterback. Of course, they drafted DJ Lagway in the first round, likely to replace Beck, who's been fine this year. Completion percentage an all-time low, but the interception rate is as well. Jonathan Brooks is injured, so it'll be a Marion Hampton and the rookie, Caleb Jackson, out of the backfield. Chris Olave, Isaiah Bond, and Lawrence Arnold lead the receiving corps with the 2 talented rookies, Miles Steele and Cortez Boyd, who fell to the 6th round for no good reason. Defensively, obviously a very stout unit. The number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. They've got a great cornerback trio with Kool-Aid McKinstry, Paulson Adebo, and Christian Gray. Gray, you may remember, was on the national champion Notre Dame team, who was one of the best players on that squad. Brian Brzee has also developed into a great player in New Orleans. Before we get to this game, though, I want to talk some contracts real quick, specifically with quarterback Bo Nix. I know he had the 2 interceptions last week, but I think it's time we pay him his money. I mean, this is the guy who won the Super Bowl for us at the quarterback position. He's the guy we've got to ride with. We are going to offer him a 6-year deal for over $310 million, and he says yes. You got to pay a lot of money for good quarterback play in this league, but it is really hard to find quarterbacks like Bo. 6 years, $318 million. That's over $50 a year. He becomes one of the highest paid players at the position. Granted, he won't be making that much more than his 5th-year option currently, but he will be the Broncos quarterback through his age 34 season. He's going to be making a lot of money, but he's our guy. I mean, he won 4 playoff games for us last year. He played well in all 4 of them, including the Super Bowl, where he was injured for much of the game. He's the guy we want to build around. He's the guy we've built the identity of this team through. There were times in this series that I didn't know this day would come, but I'm happy it has, and I'm happy he will be our guy for the foreseeable future. The $318 million man's first task with his new contract is the number 1 scoring defense in the league. Genty gets nothing on 3rd down as he's wrapped up by a couple defenders, including Power Echols, former 5th-round linebacker in his 4th year out of North Carolina. He's turned into a good player for this Saints team. New Orleans back with it. 2nd and 9. Carson Beck looks to throw it. Boink! In the air and caught. Lawrence Arnold to the 32. We've seen a lot of our Kansas friends today, which is really fun. I love seeing our guys across the league. Marion Hampton in motion. Beck under pressure. He is sacked. Drew Sanders brings him down. The pass rush was electric the first 5 weeks of the year, and then really since the Seattle game, they've kind of disappeared. 3rd and 9. Short throw for the tight end. Jake Brenningstool to the 48. He had a step there on Jeffrey Bossa, which is unusual for one of the top, if not the very best, linebacker in the NFL. On 1st down, and Marion Hampton has it. Bounces off a blocker, breaks away from Surtain, and Hampton is still up to the 28. A gain of 20 for Marion Hampton, who's slow to get up. With Jonathan Brooks already injured, I guess we'll see quite a bit of the rookie Caleb Jackson, 2nd rounder out of LSU. Of course, he was paired up with Caden Durham, who we saw last week with the Bucs. Jackson has it inside the 10 to the 9. While Durham was the gadgety playmaker for the Tigers, Jackson was more of your traditional downhill running back. Short throw, Isaiah Bond, just shy of the end zone to the 1. He's wrapped up by Benjamin Morrison, and the Saints are going to kick. Boo, weak. Go for it. You have it at the 1-yard line, for Christ's sake. Field goal is up and good for Nathaniel Vakos, 3rd-year kicker out of Wisconsin. And so that'll make it 3-0. Denver has it back, trying to respond off the loss a week ago. 3rd and 4. Nix is sacked on the play. It's Brian Brzee, who's become one of the most dominant interior players in the NFL, bringing him down. He has 4.5 sacks this year, and New Orleans gets it back. Final play of the quarter. Big hit on Brenningstool. Drew Sanders with the 3rd down deflection. And that'll bring us into the 2nd. Broncos currently trailing 3-0. Brzee in the zone. That is not good. 2nd and 5 now. Play action. Nix on the run. He connects with Chris Brazzell, who's down past the 50. Marvin Mims got dinged up earlier in the game. Nothing really to worry about, but we're going to be precautious with him throughout the first half. 3rd and 2 now at the 41. Play action. Nix looks to throw it. Nix looking up the middle with a perfectly timed throw for Brazzell. That was a great play by Bo. He knew exactly when to throw it and how to lob it up to where Brazel would be the only one who had a chance of catching it. Savvy play by Mr. $318 million. He connects with Brazel again, who is just shy of the first down marker. Good tackle there defensively by New Orleans. It's Kendall Daniels, third-year safety from Oklahoma State. 4th and inches. We're going to go for it. Jeanty with the first down inside the 5 to the 3. A good run there for Ashton Jeanty. The run game has been fine this week, which is a lot better than last week after that abomination of a performance against the Bucs. On 1st and goal, Jeanty loses 4. Brian Brzee wins his rep quickly. Back in the zone, we're already seeing his elite impact. 2nd and goal, Nix on the run, it's caught! It's Christian Horn again, his 3rd touchdown of the day. So his 3rd in the last 4 weeks. The Broncos finally on the board as it is 7-3. Under 5 minutes to go in the first half for New Orleans. Carson Beck on 2nd down. He has a wide open man. It's Lawrence Arnold to the 38-yard line. We got to see Arnold for his senior season at Kansas, where he was the number 2 receiver behind Luke Grimm. Arnold has carved out a nice career as a former 7th-round pick here with the Saints. At the 38, looking deep, it's picked off. Colin Wright with the interception. That was not the right throw, and the Broncos will get it back at the 38. After kind of a down season last year, Colin Wright has picked up back where he left off as a rookie. He's been very good this season. On 3rd and 2, Ryan Williams is wide open. Outruns the linebacker Eccles and is wrapped up at the 7. A gain of 48 for Ryan Williams, the longest offensive play of this season so far for the Broncos. 2nd and goal at the 7. Travion Henderson spins away from Jelani Salami, and he is in for a touchdown. Trey Henderson scores once again, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year, and it is 14-3. After a slow start offensively, we've picked up where we left off. 2nd and 5, that ball's out, it's a fumble, and it's scooped up by the defense. Benjamin Morrison recovers the fumble forced by Patrick Surtain as he rips it away from Isaiah Bond. We'll have to see if that ball came out. It was a close one, and at first look, I kind of thought he did fumble it there. But after seeing the Booth review and getting another look at it, I saw that Isaiah Bond did not fumble it. The knee is down. You can see him kind of bobbling the ball around, but the bobble is only because of his contact with the ground. So that is not a fumble. A huge break for New Orleans. We'll see if they can capitalize here at the 2-minute warning. From the 41, wide open, it's Chris Olave. Marvin Grant leads the way to tackle him at around the 29. That was some pretty pitiful coverage by Denver. 3rd and 2, wide open, Lawrence Arnold in for a touchdown. And the Saints finally find the end zone. Took them nearly the entirety of the first half. That'll make it 14-10. So New Orleans does take advantage of the fumble being reversed. Denver back with it, 40 seconds to go on 1st down. Bo Nix on the run. He's got his man. Christian Horn with a juke move. Horn to around the 30 to the 28 as the Broncos will use a timeout. They're firmly in field goal range. I'm sure they'd like a little more than just a field goal. 3rd and 7, out of timeouts. Nix knows not to take the sack, so he'll just throw it away. And with under 20 seconds left, that'll bring out the field goal team. 42-yard try for the former New Orleans Saint, Will Lutz. His kick is good. 17-10. That's your score going into the half. One of Bo Nix's best halves of the year. 14 of 20, 181 and a score. Very similar numbers for Carson Beck. 14 of 21, 180 yards, a touchdown, but also the interception as well. Still haven't really ran it all that well. Travion Henderson's been good. 3 carries, 24 yards. Jeanty is not. 8 carries, 19 yards. Beck hit as he throws on 1st down. He's got Jake Brenningstool, who gets it to the 19-yard line. A good play there by the talented young tight end, who puts New Orleans in the red zone. 1st and 10 now at the 19 for the Saints. Carson Beck alone in the backfield as he looks to throw it. Looking for the corner. It is caught! Lawrence Arnold has dominated his matchup with Benjamin Morrison. Arnold has 5 catches, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns today. This one is knotted up at 17. Denver back with it, 3rd and 6. Nix under pressure, and he is sacked. Chase Young, kids. It's Chase Young in the backfield who brings down Bo. This is Chase Young's second stint in New Orleans after a couple seasons with the Bears, although remember, we tried to sign him back in year one. As that third down pass is incomplete, Beck was under some pressure. He sent it at Brenningstool's feet. That'll lead to a punt, and the Broncos get it back. 5 minutes to go in the third at the 24. Genty gets it to the left side with a couple good blocks from Rivaldo Fairweather. Genty throws down the defender to the ground. Oh my goodness. Kendall Daniels took one hell of a stiff arm from Ashton Genty. Good Lord. At the 42. Nix backs up, looks to throw, and he's got Fannin. Fannin tries to truck through the defender. Kendall Daniels makes sure to send him down. He's not going to take another big hit again. Denver, though, with a good drive. They've got it at the 24. On first down, Nix looks to throw it, looking. He's got Mims, who's just shy of the end zone. Wrapped up by Christian Gray at the 1. Really good and really quick drive for Denver. We've had the ball for less than 2.5 minutes. Genty bounces off blockers. He is in for a score, and the Broncos are back ahead. Ashton Genty, his 4th rushing touchdown of the year, showing off the dance moves. Saints back with it, trailing by 7. 3rd down and 11. Carson Beck looks to throw it up the middle. It is caught by Isaiah Bond, but he is wrapped up by Surtain and friends. Baron Browning banged up. That's not good news. This is Browning's first game back since like week 4. And he was playing really well early in the year before he got injured. 2nd and 9. Nix fakes the handoff for Genty under pressure, and he is sacked. JT Tuimoloau brings him down, and that'll make it a 3rd and 20 for the Denver offense. Backed up at the 25-yard line following the sack. Play action again. Nix rolls to the right, under pressure with a seed. It is caught inbounds to the 49 by Marvin Mims. So that's what it feels like to be on the other side of a 3rd and 20. Feels good, I've got to say. We would continue to move the ball down the field, and early in the 4th, Genty is in on a 3rd and goal. His 2nd touchdown of the game. A 14-point lead now for the Broncos as it's 31-17. New Orleans back with it. Time not on their side. Down within 6 minutes. Up the middle, Lawrence Arnold again. He's been awesome in this game. Takes a big hit. This has been Benjamin Morrison's worst game of his career. He's gotten cooked by Arnold. Beck on 2nd and goal. Pushed down to the ground by Marvin Grant. And Beck is hurt on the play. So that means for the first time, DJ Lagway is in. Lagway has thrown 1 pass in his NFL career. Here's his 2nd. Back of the end zone. It's a touchdown. Lawrence Arnold with a hat trick. His 3rd score of the game. He had 0 touchdowns this year coming into the game. Now he is 3. Saints are going to go for 2 down by 8. I love it. Lagway wide open. Nice catch. It's a Marion Hampton absorbing the big hit by Grant. So DJ Lagway's in the game for 2 plays, and he scores 8 points in those plays. We're only up by 6. Got to choose some clock. First down for Mims to the 41. The Saints got to keep Denver out of field goal range because even 3 points puts us up by multiple possessions. Genty following play with a juke move inside the 30. Denver is definitely in field goal range now. A great run by Ashton Genty, who's played well in the second half after struggling over the last game and a half. 2nd and 9, RPO. Chris Brazzle with a little razzle-dazzle. He's going to dive down. We could have gotten more, maybe a touchdown, but we're focused on chewing clock, not scoring. 2nd and 4 at the 8. Back to Genty. Whoop! Juke move. First down, and that will do it as he's down at the 2. Denver holds on to win it, 31-25. An exciting end for the New Orleans offense with the 8-point drive by DJ Lagway, but they would not end up getting the ball back. A masterclass of clock chewing for the now 6-2 Denver Broncos. This was one of our most efficient games of the year. Run game showed some good things. Bo Nix not missing, 78%. I think he had his best game of the year. So it's good to see that he's playing well with his new extension. Carson Beck was solid as well, and then shout out DJ Lagway, looked good in limited opportunity. Genty played well, as did Marion Hampton. Trey Henderson was good too. He was more efficient than Genty, but we couldn't really give him the ball in the second half because he was injured for most of the second half. 8 catches for Bond, 7 for 103, and 3 touchdowns for Lawrence Arnold. I hope you had him in your fantasy lineup. Very balanced game for us. We had 4 receivers between 60 and 70 yards. Defensively, Jeffrey Bossa with a great game. We haven't talked about him in depth this year, but he has been unbelievable, per usual. Colin Wright with another interception, his second of the year. We do have a couple new injuries, though, and they are significant. Rasheed Walker, who just got back. Broken ribs, out 5 more weeks. And then Ryan Williams, dislocated knee. Right as Ryan Williams was really coming along, too. The timing of that sucks. But at least Mario Maddox will be back. All of our key receivers have missed significant time this year, except for Marvin Mims. Who would have thought? So that brings us here to the end of week number 8. Here's a look at your scores across the rest of the NFL. The Chiefs and Raiders trying to play catch up with us both end up winning this week. The Raiders win especially impressive because they faced off against the previously undefeated Arizona Cardinals. What a turnaround from them. Number 1 pick 2 years ago to now unbeaten. Eli Holstein, Pat Mahomes, Kyle Hamilton, and Arvell Reese win the Players of the Week. Shout out the Heisman Trophy winner, Eli Holstein with the Rams. They haven't won a lot of games, but Holstein's been pretty solid. We can now see the awards list. Josh Allen, the MVP favorite. Bo Nix in 7th. What I find interesting is that Lamar's in 10th, and Mahomes is not even on the list. Bossa and Surtain, both top 10 for Depoy. Ashton Jeanty, second best running back behind Tyjae Spears. Francis Mauigoa, third best offensive lineman. Bossa, Benito, Sanders, all on the best linebacker list. Surtain and Wright on the best DB list. So that gets us set for week 9. The Broncos are now 6-2. We've got some fun games in the next episode. We're playing against 4 pretty good teams, all of whom are at least 500. The game I'm most excited about is this first one against Atlanta. Bo Nix and Michael Penix, college rivals who, believe it or not, have never played each other in the NFL. We've only seen Atlanta once in this series. That was Penix's rookie year when he was the backup to Kirk Cousins. Then we've got Tennessee. We've got Jacksonville. I'm pretty sure the first time we're playing the Jaguars since they beat us in the playoffs a couple of years ago. And then the Colts, the first time we're playing them since we beat them in the playoffs back in year 3. And that'll set us up for 2 late-season matchups against the Chargers, who are 5-3 in second place in a very competitive AFC West. We've also got the trade deadline upcoming as well. I think there's going to be a lot of buyers. There are not many bad teams in the AFC this year, really only 2 or 3. One of whom, interestingly, is the Bengals, which is kind of a surprise, but should be an exciting trade deadline. I don't really know where we can get this team better, but we'll try to make some moves and load up for hopefully another Super Bowl run. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Broncos Country, let's ride.